What's up everyone, Lee here, aka Major Lee Gaming, and welcome to the Lugia only Soul Silver speed run. That means I am seeing how quickly I can tackle the Johto region with just the Lugia. I'm allowed to use held items, but any kind of items in battle are not allowed, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. I ended up replacing Totodile with Lugia so we could have an edge over a rival. I know, I got those hacks. I am a hacksaurus, lol. I end up naming Lugia my boy, because obviously Lugia is my boy. He's also my dude, but that doesn't matter. From there, we end up getting the Poké Gear from Mom, who proceeds to ask us if we know how to use it, and of course we do. This is not our first time, but whatever, she proceeds to explain anyway. We then proceed to Mr. Pokemon's house to get the egg and continue being Professor Elm's errand boy, only to discover that we are yet again getting sent on another errand to collect all the entire Pokemon in the world, known at the time, by Professor Oak. Afterwards, we get a call from Elm saying a Pokemon has been stolen, and of course, it is our job to do something about it. We run into the mysterious passerby boy and easily defeat his Chikorita while he whines about us being weak, as usual, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, we return to the lab, and then for some weird reason, we get accused of stealing the Pokemon, even though Elm literally watched us take the Lugia. Why the hell would we take anything else? But we proceed to tell the officer the boy's name is Kevin, named after my Silver Nuzlocke series. Go check that out, shameless plug. Anyway, we end up giving the egg to Elm, and he thinks we have what it takes to become their Pokemon champion. No way, really? With this massive behemoth? I agree, man. I agree. I should also mention that I forgot to tell Mom that I left home. I'm a terrible kid. Whoops. Next, I head to Bellsprout Tower / Sprout Tower. I still don't know what the right name for that thing is, but I end up having to heal a couple of times throughout the tower to get my PP back to full. Guys, always make sure you have full PP, man. That is a life lesson with Lee. As I progress through the tower, I eventually get to level 9 and learn Gust. Yeah, no more PP issues. Comment that down below if you made it to this point in the video. After that, we see Kevin throwing a fit, and then we battle the Tower Elder, win, and grab the HM for Flash. It's useless in this run, but YOLO, it's good EXP. From there, I battle Falkner without fighting any other trainers along the way or healing. I'm a madman, I know, but you gotta be mad in this run. His Pidgey goes down relatively easily while his Pidgeotto almost gets a W, but I hold out on 4 HP and also grab the TM for Roost. That'll come in handy, man. Next up is Azalea Town, where I had to help Old Man Turret #save the Slowpoke from Team Rocket. Afterwards, I decide to fight the rival Kevin before Bugsy. I go for a Gust, which is Ghastly lives and curses me. Yo, this is bad. I proceed to battle the biting Zubat while fighting for my life with the curse. I use a couple of roosts and barely make it out, living on 5 HP from the curse to fight his Bayleaf. Oh man. I decide to roost again while Bayleaf whips out a Razor Leaf. So far so good. But then he poisons me, and combined with the curse, I'm slowly realizing, yep, this is going to be a loss. I mean, what can I do? Yep, there it is. I realize I have to fight Bugsy and his bug pals before proceeding at this point. He leads off with his Scyther as expected, and I manage to land a Gust, but instead of the usual U-turn, he whips out Focus Energy and Leer, so I get to land 2 Gusts before he switches out to the Metapod. Metapod only makes itself hard anyway, so he is no challenge for my mighty Gust. Scyther comes back in after I destroy his Metapod, and then Bugsy heals up with a Super Potion. I go for Gust a couple of times, and before his Scyther faints, it manages to land a quick attack, but it goes down. Last but not least is Kakuna, who goes down easily from 1 Gust, and the second gym badge is mine. I rebattle the rival now that I know Dragon Rush. Luckily I don't miss, and the Ghastly goes down easily with 1 hit. I wish I could say the same with the Zubat. I missed the first one, but connect with the second, and then I eventually finish him off with Gust. Bayleaf acts a bit different this time, and sets up Reflect, as well as being a trolly little with Synthesis. Such a trolly mod, man. That's so annoying. I end up getting the W regardless of him poisoning me, and thanks to not having to deal with the curse, Kevin is done. Next on the list is Whitney. Good old crybaby Whitney who, quote, just got into Pokemon because everyone else was, end quote. What a conformist. She of course leads out with Clefairy, which I'm not too concerned about. It does take a Dragon Rush and survive to half health, which kinda surprised me because it's not stab, but anyway, she ends up using a Super Potion, which is great. Now she won't have it for her Miltank. I end up finishing it off with a Dragon Rush, and out comes the ace. Miltank has always been scary, man. I start off with a crit Dragon Rush and get it to half health. Great! I then go for a Gust because I figured why not? Well, then the Miltank tries to stall me by going for Milk Drink. It must love its milk, man, because this continues to happen. We trade blows for a bit, and I roost while she drinks her milk until, yep, it OHKOs me with rollout. For the Whitney rematch, I had to grind with some trainers along the way to Ecruteak City in order to efficiently level up Lugia while making consistent progress in the game. Clefairy again is no match for me as I go for 2 Dragon Rushes and make it faint. Whitney then proceeds to go out to Miltank while I spam Dragon Rush to no avail because... Milk Drink, yep, this again. I'm starting to realize there are a lot of stall mons in this game. We trade blows for a bit and I end up getting a flinch, which is awesome. That really helps. I even get a crit Dragon Rush to finally finish the job. Whitney, as always, throws a fit and for some reason feels better after I talk with her friend. And there we go, my dudes. The 3rd gym badge is ours. Next up is the rival battle in Ecruteak with Kevin. Good old Kevin. He starts with Ghastly, who goes down easily with 1 Dragon Rush. Next up is Magnemite, which gets hit with Surf. Yes, I taught Lugia Surf. I then get confused but manage to take out Magnemite pretty easily. He then sends out Zubat, which is no match for a Dragon Rush, and then finally we're left with Bayleaf, which goes down after 3 Gusts. Luckily there were no issues during this battle. Next is the fight with Morty, aka Rick and Morty. Oh jeez. Yeah, never mind. I can't do that, boys. At this point, I've learned Extra Sensory, which pretty easily takes out his Ghost-type Pokemon because they're also Poison-type. Hashtag pro plays in the comments, my dude. I still don't understand why you don't have Mischievous, bro, and never will. Anyway, Gengar lives a hit, which I was pretty surprised about seeing as how he's a glass cannon, but in the end, we take him out, as well as the last Haunter, and boom, Gym Badge number 4 is ours. The next battle is with Gym Leader Chuck, aka Mr. Overweight, according to his wife. Wow, that's brutal, bro. Chuck's Primeape ends up living on 1 from an E-Sense, and he heals up with a Hyper Potion. I use Surf and then go for an E-Sense, but miss. He leers me, but goes down after the 3rd one. Poliwrath eats the E-Sense for dinner and ties it off with a Citrus Berry for dessert. He body slams me and then surfs, but I'm tanky, so I can take it. Chuck heals again, but this time Poliwrath goes down after 2 E-Senses while I claim the 5th Gym Badge. The next part of the story leads us to the Team Rocket hideout in Mahogany Town. Comment down below if you know where Mahogany is from. Lance busts in like he owns the place, but I mean, he does have a Dragonite, so that pretty much gives him ultimate authority if I do say so myself. The bad thing about this part in the game is I am stalled by the Persian statue alerting Team Rocket that I'm here. Oh well, it's good experience. I make my way through the hideout and finally encounter the double battle with Lance and the lady who calls me out for needing a compass. Like, bruh, you have one too though. Anyway, they go down relatively easily because of mine and Lance's hashtag pro plays. Yeah, I whipped out some surfs while he was flying, no big deal, I know, I'm a genius. But anyway, afterwards, we make the Electrode faint, and that's that. Next up is Gym Leader Pryce. I thought he would be fairly easy, but, you know, I might have underestimated him a bit. They do say old age brings wisdom. His Steel goes down with 2 attacks, but Dugong is a different story. It takes a few more hits because he is Bulk City, and also gets healed up with a Hyper Potion. I go for Extra Sensory, he lands a crit Aura Beam, but ultimately I KO him with the 3rd hit. Piloswine, what a story. I go for Surf thinking it'll be a one-shot. Nope, he lands a Blizzard which freezes me. Are you kidding? I avoid a couple of Blizzards and get my hopes up, but to no avail. I lose to an Ice Fang. Great. The rematch with Pryce goes much more smoothly. Seal still poses little to no threat and goes down with only 2 Extra Sensories. He then goes to Dugong, expectedly, which ends up going down to a crit Extra Sensory. Good luck so far. Last but not least is Piloswine. I go for Surf and expect the Berry Blizzard combo, but this time Pryce doesn't get the freeze. I use Surf and Pryce heals up. I don't know why I went for Roost instead of Surf, but we eventually get the W as well as our 7th badge. I saved Jasmine for after Pryce because I do not want to mess around with her Steel types too soon. It turns out, I was right. Her Magnemite decides to troll me after surviving a Surf by landing a T-Wave as well as confusing me. It goes down, but the next one spams T-Bolt, and I continue to hit myself in Fusion and or get para-hacked by RNGesus. Needless to say, I lost this round. Oh no! I decide to rematch immediately, and the next battle with Jasmine looks to be the same result, but surprisingly the Magnemite doesn't confuse me and only goes for T-Bolt. Her second Magnemite also whips out T-Bolt, so I take the opportunity to Roost. I then get para-hacked while she continues to spam T-Bolt, but I lived on 1 HP and Roost immediately. That rhymed, haha. I roost to full health and then proceed to surf. Next is Steelix, who goes down with just 2 surfs, and boom, we got the badge. I then head to Goldenrod, where I played dress up with Team Rocket, because apparently that is required in this game. It doesn't matter though, because just as I think I deceived the Team Rocket member, Kevin ruins my plan. Like, bro, really? Can't you see I'm undercover here? Regardless, I'm forced to save the tower through battles. While making my way through the tower, I come across the fake director, aka the Faker, aka Petrol? I think that's your name? I don't know, man. Names are hard, words are hard. Anyway, his army of poison types goes down without a fight, and that's the end of him. Plus he gives me the basement key, so that's kinda cool. While exploring the basement, Loudmouth Kevin shows up and demands I fight him. Alright bro, I'll take you down. He starts off with Golbat, who I crit with an extra sensory. Next is Sneasel, who gives me a bit of trouble, but it's nothing to write home about. He also has a freaking Magnemite. Ugh. Am I going to relive Jasmine? It confuses me, but luckily doesn't know T-Bolt, and I take it down. His Haunter gets lucky because I end up hitting myself in confusion, but the next turn I take it down with an E-Sense. Meganium doesn't really pose that much of a threat, it's just a Stallmon. I get Parahacked a couple of times, but ultimately live on 8 HP, and I bring him down. Next is the fight with the wannabe Giovanni, who has one of my favorite Pokemon, Houndour, aka my dog, Max. I'll timestamp a photo of him right here for you guys to see. His team goes down easily thanks to Lugia's super effective moveset, and I get to move on. Afterwards, the director thanks me and continues to waste my time by standing around and telling me he has nothing more to say. Really? Well, at least I got a silver wing. The fight with Claire is the start of the turning point in this run. She leads off with Gyarados, who spams Dragon Rage, but luckily, with Roost, it's not much to worry about. The only problem is, thanks to Intimidate, my Dragon Rush won't do as much damage to her Dragonairs or her Kingdra. She ends up using a Hyper Potion on the Gyarados and continues to stall me for time while I spam Roost and any attacking moves I can. This thing is annoying, man. It ultimately goes down to an extra sensory finally, and I'm forced to face the first Dragonair. It survives my Dragon Rush and of course lands a T-Wave. Now they'll outspeed, yay. It goes down though, and her second Dragonair spams Dragon Pulse. I roost to play it safe and end up taking out the second Dragonair while deciding, albeit too soon, to get rid of Roost for Aeroblast. Now for the real problem, Kingdra. The Kingdra takes my lowered attack Dragon Rush with no issues and lands a crit Hydro Pump. Seriously? I should have kept Roost, hindsight is 20/20, and I'm forced to face Claire again. I decide to teach my HM slave Rock Smash so I can grab the Shell Bell and give it to Lugia. It's a decent alternative to the Roost strat I've been using, and I can heal while having 4 good attacking moves. For the rematch with Claire, things start off relatively the same, except this time I know Aeroblast, so that her Gyarados goes down in 3 hits. I also managed to get a flinch on her Dragonair, so yeah, no Parahacks. Well, yet. The second Dragonair manages to land T-Wave, of course, but I take it down and recover a bit of HP thanks to the Shell Bell. The big problem is her Kingdra because it outspeeds and goes for Hydro Pump, but it misses. I land Dragon Rush and do a decent amount of damage. It ends up landing the second Hydro Pump, and I'm starting to think I've lost, but Claire misses Hydro Pump again, so I claim the W and go on into the Dragon Stand so Claire will accept me and give me her badge. Life is all about having women accept you, my dudes, so you can get their badge. After I get the badge, I receive the call from Elm, so I travel home. I try to forgo the Lugia and Komodo Girl events, but Mom won't let me. It's hard living under your parents' roof, isn't it, kids? I proceed to Elm's lab where he gives me the Master Ball and tells me to go see some women in kimonos. Wow, sounds like a wild Saturday night, am I right? I travel to Ecruteak thinking I'll get to see some lovely ladies dance for me, but instead, they want to fight. Oh, well, my Saturday night plans seem to have drastically changed, so I unwillingly accept. The first battle with Umbreon had me worried, but I ended up taking it down pretty easily thanks to a crit Aeroblast. Next up was a battle with Espeon, which I figured would be much easier than Umbreon, and yeah, I was right. No issues there. I crit the Espeon as well and move on to the Flareon. I was actually surprised Flareon could take a Surf. I mean, it's not stab, but Flareon, you're not the best. You're not the worst, but you're not the best. It manages to land a Fire Blast and doesn't burn me, thank God. I ended up finishing it off with another Surf. Next up is Jolteon, the one I figured would be a pain in my booty hole, and yeah, he double teams right away and then lands a T-Wave shortly after. From there, Jolteon easily takes control of the fight because I miss my attack while it strikes me with 2 Thunderbolts. Damn. Now I have to rebattle all of them again? Seriously? So I actually had to attempt the Kimono Girls multiple times, and this was one of those times where the ultimate BS happened. I would say something different, but I'm trying to be PG through this run. Flareon burns me. Really? It goes down, but I'm worried about the next battle, the fight with Jolteon. The fight with Jolteon is tough because I'm burnt, but at least it can't paralyze me. I end up taking it down with 2 extra sensories and move on to the Vaporeon. The Vaporeon I thought would be easy, but no, nothing is ever easy in life. It survives an Aeroblast and whips out Surf, not Hydro Pump, like I thought it would. At this point, I know it's going to be over thanks to the burn, and no chance of Vaporeon missing because of the Surf. Yet again, I have to rematch. At this point, I don't know how many times I fought them. It was at least 5 or 6. I'm either very terrible at Pokemon, or this is insanely challenging, or both. I end up just showing the last battle because this is starting to get very tedious. This time, I somehow make it to Vaporeon without getting burned or parahacked by the Flareon/Jolteon, and also managed to land a crit extra sensory. Finally, I get the W. Now will the Kimono Girls finally dance for me? I don't know, stay tuned. Oh my god, it's finally happening. My wild Saturday night dream is coming true. In a cave. Wait a minute. They're not dancing for me. They're dancing for Lugia. I get it now. So now I have to fight Lugia and prove to them my Lugia is the real Lugia, I guess? Anyway, I easily body the wild Lugia and finally go to Victory Road. It's about time. While traveling through Victory Road, my last rival battle with good old Kevin has come. He starts out with Sneasel, who goes down to 1 Aeroblast. Next up is Magneton, who paralyzes me, but he misses Supersonic, thank god. He then sends out Haunter, who does confuse me, but I take it out with an E-Sense. Golbat is lucky because I get paralyzed, but then one-shot him on the next turn. Lugia is getting jacked, my dudes. His Meganium ends up getting one-shotted by my Aeroblast as well, so that's good, not much trolling there. And last but not least is Kadabra, which goes down in 1 hit as well. E4 time, baby. First up is Will, the Psychic type trainer. He starts off with his typical Xatu, who goes for U-turn and swaps out with the Jinx. Jinx survives a Surf and lands a Lovely Kiss. Really, bro? Why are you making out with me? All jokes aside, I'm raging at this point because I'm asleep while he lands a couple of Ice Punches. I finally wake up barely living and decide not to mess around by Aeroblasting his Jinx. Xatu comes back out and goes down with 1 more Surf. Next, he sends out his other Xatu, which is a bit of trouble, but nothing like the Jinx. It goes down after 2 hits. Executor is easy because it faints from 1 Aeroblast. Last up is Slowbro, who just curses at me while I slowly whittle him down. Will heals up, but gets defeated shortly after. Koga the Ninja, aka Master Poison type dude, is the next Elite 4 member on the list. He starts off with his Ariados, who doesn't even survive 1 hit. Easy. Fortress comes up next and sets up with some Toxic Spikes for some reason. Don't you know I'm Lugia only speedrunning this, bro? Koga heals up and then his Fortress starts protecting. Luckily, he goes for Swift and I can finish him off. I'm surprised it didn't explode, to be honest. Next up is Muck, who survives 1 E-Sense but goes down after the second. His Crobat also goes down easily, not even living 1 attack. His last Pokemon is Venomoth, which, much like the Crobat, goes down without even a fight, and with that, we defeat Koga. Next up on the list is Bruno. His fighting types may pack a punch, but they are no match for my boy, aka Lugia. He starts off with Hitmontop, who lives in E-Sense, but for some reason goes for counter. Bruno heals up, but for no reason because I take him down with a high roll E-Sense. He then goes out to Onyx, which is easily swept by Surf. I thought his Hitmonchan might have the potential to be problematic, but it goes down easily with 1 attack. Next up is a Machamp, which I thought would have Stone Edge, but I guess that is only for the Elite 4 rematch, thank god. It lives on an E-Sense but can't handle 2, so down it goes. Last up is Hitmonlee, who goes down with 1 hit, and now I'm at full health, my dudes. Yeah! At this point, I'm thinking, wow, my luck has been really good. Well, that's about to change thanks to Karen and her Dark-type team. Dark types are problematic because I can't hit them with an E-Sense, so my only option is to Aeroblast and hope I can get a crit. Her Umbreon decides to be trolly and goes for Double Team as well as Payback. I did it to red health, but Karen of course heals up. I missed my first attack and allowed her to continue to set up double teams. She also confuses me. Awesome. As you can see, the BS goes back and forth for a bit until I live on 3 HP and KO the Umbreon. Next up is Gengar, who goes down to 1 extra sensory, no problem. Her Murkrow lives a Dragon Pulse and for some reason goes for Pluck. Alright. I go for another Dragon Pulse and it goes down. She then sends out Houndoom, which isn't especially bulky, but survives my surf, and then OHKOs me with a Dark Pulse. Ugh. So close, guys, so close. For the rematch with the Elite Four, things are a little different. I'm a slightly higher level for the battle with Will this time, and I also picked up an elixir to heal my PP, giggity. Anyway, I hit the Xatu with the surf, and it U-turns out to Jinx. I decide to Arrow Blast because I'm not messing around this time. Jinx goes for Ice Punch and lands a crit, but that's fine. I go for Surf, and Will heals up only to find that my Arrow Blast finishes off his Jinx. The Xatu he switched out to goes down without a fight as well. Next is his second Xatu, which I actually managed to land a crit Arrow Blast on, so that might have mattered. He then goes out to Executor, and we all know that's no big deal. Done. Last up is Slowbro, who I just spammed Dragon Pulse at until he eventually goes down, and that's it. The rematches with Koga and Bruno are easy peasy, dudes. We're going to fast forward the heck out of these next two fights because no one really cares, and you guys only want to see my fight with Karen anyway, right? I mean, I know I would. Plus, I'm slowly starting to realize the amount of editing that has to go into this kind of video is enough to make me Brooklyn rage. Here we are, dudes. The rematch with Karen, what you've all been waiting for. She starts out with Umbreon, who I crit with an Arrow Blast, forcing her to heal up. We then trade blows while she double teams, but I eventually finish off the Umbreon much more easily this time around. Gengar is the same and goes down to 1 E-Sense. From there, her Murkrow gets hit by Surf while it goes for Whirlwind, okay, and goes down to a Dragon Pulse. I go for Surf on her Houndoom, and this time it tries to set up a Nasty Plot, but I quickly shut that down with another Surf. Vileplume is last on the list and goes down easily to Extra Sensory, and there we go, dudes. Karen is done. The last battle is with Champion Lance, who starts off with the intimidating Gyarados. I go for Arrow Blast while he hits me with an Ice Fang, but luckily he doesn't get the freeze, and all it takes is one more Arrow Blast to take him down. Next is the Aerodactyl, which I thought one Surf would kill, but apparently I think that's too much this game, and it ends up taking me 3 Surfs due to him healing. So far so good though, but that is probably about to change with his Dragonite army. Dragon Pulse does a good bit of damage, and I can easily eat up a Thunder, just please no paralysis. Good. First one goes down after 2 Dragon Pulses. His second Dragonite eats up my Dragon Pulse, and of course it T-Waves me. Now it outspeeds and goes for Hyper Beam, which isn't the worst case scenario, but it lands a crit. Luckily, I don't get para-hacked by RNGesus, and I live to fight his next Pokemon, who happens to be Charizard. Charizard outspeeds and goes for Shadow Claw, and then my dumbass misclicks and goes for Dragon Pulse. Crap! Charizard then gets off another Shadow Claw before I KO it with Surf. Last but not least, it's his final Dragonite, which easily kills me with Outrage. Okay. I went ahead and skipped the footage for the rematches because we don't want to see that for a third time, plus editing. Anyway, Lance's Gyarados lives in Arrow Blast and hits me with an Ice Fang, still no freeze thankfully, and I managed to take it out with another Arrow Blast. His Aerodactyl still survives Surf and lands a Rock Slide, but still doesn't pose much of a challenge because it goes down. This time I actually managed to land a crit on his first Dragonite, which is awesome. And on his second Dragonite, wait, another crit? Dude, what are the odds? Like, actually, what are the odds? Someone let me know down below. Anyway, this time I outspeed Charizard and hit him with a Surf, which he manages to live. That's okay because he goes for Shadow Claw and does not survive the second Surf. One more to go, my dudes. The final Dragonite doesn't pose as much of a threat this time around because it doesn't outspeed. At this point, I'm just spamming Dragon Pulse while he goes for Safeguard and Outrage. We end up taking him down with little to no effort at all, and that is it, my dudes. We beat the main game and became the champion. So I believe my final time was 4 hours and 27 minutes. We'll show that at the final screen in just a minute here, but that seems pretty slow to me. I don't know. I thought I did a good job, but if you guys think you can beat it faster than me, like, challenge me down in the comments below, man. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. If this video hits 1,000 views, I'll definitely do more challenges like this. It was fun, it's just very time consuming. And if it's not going to get a lot of views, then I don't really want to waste a lot of time editing, you know? But yeah, so, you know, if you guys liked it, subscribe, like, and I will see you guys next time.